Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
We always have a lot to talk about, and tonight is no exception, so we want you to join in. And all you have to do is call the Bordas & Bordas hotline. It's 412-575-2600. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call on Pittsburgh CW, only tonight as the Pirates continue to play the Braves. And Chris Mueller joins us over at 93.7 The Fan on what was an interesting Saturday night in Jacksonville. So that's going to be the topic most everyone wants to get into, Chris. I'm going to start with not the quarterbacks. We'll get into that in a second. But to me, even more so pressing is what has to happen with this offensive line. And I don't know if there's anything they can do. They brought in another undrafted free agent today. He was plucked from another team. He's been with 4 teams. I don't know if there's a quick fix here. If so, what is it in your estimation?
Well, there isn't one, so I don't have one. And I think it's, 10:36. We're allowed to. It's FCC safe harbor. You were going to say, what the hell is going on with this offensive line?
Yes.
So I'll say it for you, Bob.
I'm glad you did.
What the hell is going on with these guys? You know what? I'll be honest. It's the Steelers not allocating the same kind of draft resources that they did when they had really good lines, the same kind of resources to find a really good offensive line coach like they did when they had Mike Munchak, and getting probably worse than they would have expected, but a predictable result in some ways. I mean, go across the line. Moore is a 4th rounder. Kendrick Green's a 3rd rounder, but now Dotson's thankfully taken that spot back, but he's a 4th rounder. Mason Cole's a 3rd rounder. James Daniels, 2nd rounder. Chukwuezekorofo is a 3rd rounder. When they had those big-time lines, it was Pouncey as a 1st, DeCastro as a 1st, Gilbert as a 2nd, Ramon Foster, even though he was undrafted, even though Villanueva was a converted wide receiver, you knew that those guys, in Ramon's case, had proved their NFL bona fides, and Villanueva's being tutored by one of the best coaches in the business in Munchak. What do they have now? They have a collection of mid-round picks, by and large, Bob, coached by a guy that really has an undistinguished resume. It's not, terrible. It's not all that good either, in Pat Meyer.
And that's the thing. They've gone through a number of coaches also. Not that I'm going to blame them totally here, but at the same time, they've had Sean Surratt followed by Adrian Clem, followed by Pat Meyer. You have a different approach. Those guys all talked about technique today. Some talk about hands, others talk about feet. I think, it becomes a paralysis of analysis. I think they start thinking too much like golfers can do, instead of just playing sometimes. And maybe that's part of the problem. But you can't be this easily beaten at the line of scrimmage if you're some of these guys. And I thought Kendrick Green would actually get better moving to the position he played in college largely. That hasn't happened. I thought Dan Moore would be better. Now, I know we haven't played a regular season game, so this can all change. But based on 2 preseason games, and they do put significant evidence on this, you haven't seen him go forward. He's gone backwards. James Daniels doesn't look like the guy they signed and thought he'd be the glue of this offensive line.
No, we still don't know if James Daniels is even playing his best position, because I've heard Bears insiders say that it's actually center, that's where he would excel. And Mason Cole has guard versatility, so if it gets really bad, they should not necessarily throw out the idea of switching those 2 around on the fly just for a changeup. Dan Moore's been a huge disappointment. I had quiet optimism, Bob, that he was going to start playing even better, that he might take a little bit of a second-year leap. I saw enough where he looked like he knew what he was doing out there in his rookie year. He had progressed so much that I thought another jump was in order. He hasn't. He's gone backwards. I'll tell you this. You say, is there a fix? I'll say this quickly. They need Kevin Dotson to quickly establish that he is the alpha dog at left guard, and then he needs to be the leader of that line because he's got the nastiness, he's got the demeanor. In his rookie year, he had the performance. That is the only kind of optimism I've got for you.
We'll talk more about that coming up. We want your opinions on it, so give us a call. We'll also get into the quarterback situation. All 3 guys have done fairly well here. Kenny Pickett's done extremely well, putting pressure on the number 1. We'll talk about that and where it actually is and where we likely see it being on September the 11th. But in the meantime, give us a call. We want to hear from you. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're on the air 7 nights a week. No excuse. Call us right here on Pittsburgh CW.